Senator Richard Burr, chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, in an exclusive interview from his office on Capitol Hill.
Well, thanks, Loretta. Senator, you hosted a very important hearing at the Senate Intelligence Committee today. You know, many of your colleagues expressed some frustration with some of the answers from Google, Twitter, Facebook. How do you feel that they did today in answering your questions?
Listen, I don't think they were prepared for a committee that's 9 months into an investigation. I felt at times like we knew more about their business than they did, and I hope they'll go back and think about the level of detail that we asked them about that clearly within their companies they haven't thought about. This is a very, very serious issue going forward. And though we may be focused on the United States elections, looking through the rearview mirror, we're also looking forward at the 2018 elections. We're looking at the economics of the marketplace and how these same tools could be used to affect growth in our economy or decline in our economy. There's no facet of society that we deal in that with the same template, either Russia or another nation state couldn't carry out an act that was devastating to the United States or any country.
Do you believe that Russian meddling influenced the outcome of the election? I know in your opening testimony, you talked a little bit about that almost 5 times as many ads were targeted at the state of Maryland than of Wisconsin. Do you think that those played a role?
Well, what I was trying to address was some of the national media narrative that was out that clearly this was something that had to be coordinated because it was surgical. It was impactful in the outcome of the elections. And in fact, when you look at the numbers and you look at the placement, what we found was a very unsophisticated approach to placement of ads, the use of non-human bots, consistent with everything else that we've seen in the Twitter world. So I can't say that there was anything different in their approach here. It just seems that the intent was to create societal chaos in the United States, more so than to impact the elections.
How does the special counsel moving into this new phase of the investigation impact your committee's work? And do you feel like there's been a good working relationship between the two?
Well, let me say this, that the working relationship is to deconflict any areas that are crossovers. We've had very few areas that have crossed over. I think that the decision to indict 3 individuals, when you read the indictments, they're indicative of time before involvement in campaigns. In some cases financial, in other cases lying to the FBI. Any American that lies to the FBI is going to be indicted. So I don't find that unusual in this case. And when Bob Mueller was hired in May of last year, this was a case that was handed over from January interviews. So really this has nothing to do with the actions of the special counsel. I believe the special counsel can perform their job, which is to look at all criminal aspects that might involve Russians' intent in our elections and individuals' reactions. By the same token, collusion is not a criminal charge, so I don't expect them to look at collusion, which is the primary responsibility of the committee. We're both interested in vetting for the American people Russia's meddling in our elections because we believe that the American people deserve to know everything that Russia did.
Is there anything you learned this week that surprised you?
From a standpoint of what the special counsel did, there was nothing that I didn't anticipate would happen, not knowing the timing of it. The reality is that what we have learned in the past 7 days is who paid for the Steele dossier, and that's opened up a new front of individuals that need to be questioned. We've done a good job over the last 10 months of constructing the universe of people that were involved in some way, shape, or form in Russia's entry into the United States and potentially their efforts to try to penetrate or meet with either campaign. What we didn't know was who to look for that we couldn't identify in that universe. Now we have a pretty good idea based upon individuals that we had not talked to that really can shed some light on the interaction of primarily the Clinton campaign as it related to opposition research. It's very unusual historically, to have any opposition research done by an outside the United States entity. So this is a new venture for American politics, but I'm convinced it's one that we will continue to see, so it's better that we understand it now and we figure out the legalities of it.
Very interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us. And back to you, Loretta.
Thanks, Samantha-Jo. And you can watch the full interview with Senator Burr on our website, SpectrumLocalNews.com. And that's it for tonight. And as always, if it's on Jones Street or Main Street, you'll find it right here on Capitol Tonight.